Hello everyone and welcome back once again to FTB Float the Boat. Today I was going to look at things for thermal expansion because last time we managed to get a dense ore world and we have basically a kind of semi-glitchy dense ore world. I put up like 8 notes on here for dense ore and it's okay, but it seems a little glitchy. I bug out every now and then. But personally, I think I could stand to have significantly more ore represented in that world than there's actually there. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's dense ore, so I'll probably remake a book with dense ore and make it to like 10 ores instead of just 8. But every now and then I do crash out of the game. The reason why, and I also found out that this is probably also the reason why I was crashing out with my game client and I hit such a massive error that locked me out of the game was because Dense Ore and Mistcraft have kind of a problem with Red Power's marble generation, and it will try and populate the worlds with 2 blocks of 2 different IDs in the same space, and it causes just like massive crashing. The problem I was having is that the world wasn't even rendering to load, much less carrying my character anywhere. Every time I tried to log in on my character, it's like, well, I'm trying to transfer into this world, and I couldn't go anywhere because I was trying to transfer into the world. I couldn't save my character in any method otherwise. So luckily I had a backup, and yeah, I've since last episode I've stood here and I've slowly fed this thing scrap. As you can see, it's already almost at 29 UU matter. It's been a very, very slow and arduous process, this. But it's going along. That's what's important. So like I was saying, for today's stuff we were going to cover thermal expansion. Now, thermal expansion covers mostly these blocks right here, and they kind of provide a in-between for what a lot of people might be able to do with a lot of different things. So it's not only giving us powered furnace, pulverizer, sawmill, induction smelter, magma crucible, liquid transposer, glacial precipitator, igneous extruder, and aqueous accumulator. It also gives us rock wool, and I believe it gives us hardened glass as well, redstone energy conduits, liquid duct, and redstone energy cells. These, the conduits and the cells, are ultimately what we're shooting for. Now, the engines over here and the portable tank, I believe, are also part of this as well, but I haven't played with those as much, so I will probably make that as an amendment episode to kind of give some semblance of idea there. Now, the first and biggest things that I wanted to do was just the machines here, so we can have a look at those and more purposefully have a look at the magma crucible. I believe it's the crucible that I am in fact looking for, not the extruder, but we will see. Alright, so the powered furnace takes a bit of redstone, some clay bricks, some copper, and a redstone reception coil, and a machine frame. The coil is gold and 2 redstone, and the frame is gold and 4 iron, surrounded by 4 glass as well. Now, each of these guys is going to take a machine frame, as you can see. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 frames. Let's see if we can go ahead and make those all out right here, just to go ahead and preemptively prepare. I'm also going to need to see if I have bricks, because I'm not sure if I have very many clay bricks. The last time I collected clay, it was for the purposes of making coke ovens. So that's been a little while. Let's see. We needed gold, and I actually placed these in the wrong positions, didn't I? Of course I did. How very classic of me. Then we'll just go ahead and do this, and this, and this, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I was about to shift click there, but that would have been a terrible idea because I would have way overproduced, and then I would have basically nothing for anything else, and that would have sucked. So let's see if I have bricks. I might have bricks somewhere out here. If I'm not, we can go and collect some. There's a little stream right south of here, and it would be no big deal whatsoever. Nothing on that. Shouldn't be any in my crafting tables here. I did also find the remainder of my void transport pipes. They were over here the entire time, so go figure. Oh my goodness, lag. I think all these, the crystal chests are lagging me out a little bit. It's not a big deal, but it's kind of a big deal. So there's always that. I don't see any clay in this as well, so I guess we'll pop up, take a quick nap, and then pop back out and go find some wool. As you can see on my mini-map, it's difficult to tell when it's nighttime and when it's daytime because the mini-map is mostly illuminated. I spent like 3.5 stacks of torches surrounding the area around my house here just to make sure stuff didn't spawn in immediate close range, and it actually means minimal spawning at long range. And it also should help promote spawning in my spider spawner over there, but it doesn't really seem to help it out that much. And of course over there we have our farm. Still farming, not doing much of anything there. It's just being a farm. I haven't actually gone out and messed with that since the last time I recorded, though it has been a little bit. Also, spawns under here would probably be a lot more prevalent since the area is, on the whole, kind of overly lit. Mobs typically have a capacity or amount that they're able to spawn within, or of a distance spawn in. So let's see if I can find some clay out here. It looks like there's some clay over there. Now I should just need 2 clay blocks, or clay brick blocks, so that's going to be, like, what, 8 clay? Luckily for me, even though I'm underwater, the drill is still extremely effective at drilling and picking up stuff, because normally if you ever play Minecraft and you try and collect something that's underwater counts like you're moving, so things go very, very slowly. Same thing as if you're like hanging on the side of a ladder and you're trying to break something by holding shift and breaking something. It takes ages because it's like you're paused on movement or something, and it just doesn't feel nearly as fast. I could be just talking out of my butt here, but I'm pretty certain I know what I'm talking about, at least in terms of it's slow. And the drill, fortunately, is still quite fast, even if underwater. So we'll just take these guys back on over here and we'll get to our induction furnace. As you can see, my 2 little saplings out there still haven't grown. Still have the stamper over there. Only needed it for the one thing, so that's not a big deal. Where'd my clay go? Damn, my clay is... Did I turn this guy off? It looks like I turned it off. No! Vader, no! Alright, well, I guess I will be back with you guys in a moment once this is all done smelting. Alright guys, we have our bricks. So now let's go ahead and slap these guys into working bricks. Just go ahead and make the lot, I don't care. It's fine. And next we need to actually produce the item here. So this guy requires a redstone reception coil. As I already happen to have 2 of those, I'm not going to go through the process of making them for this particular guy. Takes 2 of those, and 2 copper as well, and a machine frame in the mid, and then a little bit of redstone on top, and that gives us our very, very basic redstone furnace, or powered furnace, excuse me. Now it's called a powered furnace because it actually uses buildcraft power. Now I'm going to place these guys down here at this end for illustrative purposes, because it uses buildcraft power. And now, as you might notice, all the sides are colored. Effectively, what that does is it says, okay, color coding on the outside correlates to outputs and inputs on the inside. So you can feed it in from the top, the side, the bottom, or the back, and it'll fall into this blue slot here. Any other slot will come out of this orange slot, this orangish red slot. I guess that is totally orange. And that's your output, so that's automatically defaulted to output to the right side. Things that go in through here are just like any normal item. You stick in iron, whatnot, and it'll come out iron ingots, or if you do iron ingots in, it'll come out refined iron. And this side over here is your battery, your power supply. Now it actually has its own internal power supply storage, so you can overcharge it and it will still retain power even if power supply does fail. Although keep in mind that each time you smelt something, it's like 800 Minecraft joules here. So it's a relatively large amount of actual capacity. It seems to take ages once the power gets really low. So as long as you keep the power really high, it stays pretty well functioning. As I just mentioned, this is Minecraft joules, so you can power it completely with buildcraft energy, meaning engines, like redstone engines, steam engines, which that's actually railcraft, steam engines, Stirling engines, so on. It's relatively easy to use. It's a really nice starting thing to have, but you're going to need at least 2 gold to have it, meaning you've already used some iron. Whereas things like these guys, they take typically just iron. Just iron. Unless you're using Greg Tech, and if you're using Greg Tech, may Notch have mercy on your soul. It's a significantly different change from here to there. Alright, so that was our powered furnace. Let's go ahead and tackle the pulverizer. Now the pulverizer uses flint and a piston. Now the pulverizer kind of takes the same properties as what you would have from a macerator, in that it breaks down whatever you're putting into it. It basically turns whatever material, I'm doing this wrong, aren't I? It turns whatever material you put into it into a pulverized state, a powder, and that will give you basically 2 powder per 1 ore. Now there are some combinations of things that you have to make through a pulverizer, like if you wanted obsidian dust, pulverizer is the only way you're going to get it. And obsidian dust goes into your hardened glass like here, which requires lead and pulverized obsidian, and it makes a hardened glass. Now this also works in the induction smelter, which we'll get to here in a moment. So yes, we have our piston, we have our 2 flints, our machine block. We also needed the 2 copper ingots and the induction coil, so we'll do that there, and then another 2 copper ingots right there, and we have our pulverizer. Now this guy over here works best if you hook it up next to the furnace. Due to the way it outputs, if you say output on the right hand side, it will automatically pump out of the right hand configuration, the right face, the red face. Now you can obviously change this to a different color here, but it's going to conflict against other things, because this is always going to be red, this is always going to be blue. If you click, left click and right click, you can change the color on that face of the machine to accept inputs from that side, or accept outputs from that side, as the case may be. However, this slot is always going to be red. So, with the pulverizer, depending on what you're pulverizing, say if you're pulverizing lead, you have a chance, or silver, you will basically get powdered silver out over here, but you also get pulverized lead out at the bottom. There is a very, very small chance, depending on what you're pulverizing, to get a secondary material out at the same time, which is kind of a cool thing. And of course this one also uses Minecraft joules. Again, it's like about 800 joules per block that's actually being taken out. You can just throw an engine in the back and it'll power it. Next, let's see, what did we have? I did make some liquid transposers before in the past, so I might just, or aqueous accumulators, excuse me, I might just skip those. I don't know. We'll get to those when we get to those. Let's see, we were doing the sawmill next. Now the sawmill, not that button, requires an axe, iron, 2 wood planks, a reception coil, and copper. Now I'm just going to go ahead and make the reception coil here first, so we have it there. Now I'm also going to need an axe, meaning I'm going to need a little wood. Actually, I already have wood right there, so we'll use this wood. And we'll make us an iron axe. I have plenty of iron, so don't feel like I'm burning through my resources here. I've quite well overstocked on resources as is. And then we need our coil at the bottom, followed by 2 copper bars, and we have our sawmill. So we'll go ahead and slap this guy down here as well. Now the sawmill doesn't really work well with these guys. As you might expect, saws and axes are used in conjunction with chopping down trees. What a sawmill does for you is it can take, what I like to do is typically flip the inputs on this, so if I had like a chest in between these two, it'll pump into the same chest. What you do with a sawmill is you can stick wood up here, and it gets you more pieces of wood per block, so you're effectively multiplying your wood up. What this means is, instead of 4 planks from a piece of wood, you get 6. And you get sawdust. Now, sawdust is also a byproduct, which is required for some things, but to use those things, I've never actually had to play with any of them for like compressed sawdust bars. I think it just, yeah, it looks like the only real purpose of it is just making charcoal. So if you collect enough sawdust, you can throw it into a furnace and you can make charcoal. So it's kind of a two-part thing then, I suppose. Every time you make one log get chopped, every 9 logs, you basically get a free charcoal, and that's pretty awesome. Now, because these machines are Buildcraft compatible, and using the engines and using the pipes, they actually do not require a redstone engine or any sort of engine to pump out of them. They will automatically pump out of the output slot. So once it hits this output slot, if you've got a pipe sitting next to it, it's automatically going to funnel out that pipe and into whatever thing you want it to go into. So that's very, very convenient. Let's see here. We're going to go ahead and let's back up out of Sawmill. Back down to page 8 on my NEI. We were going to make our induction smelter. Now this guy kind of does the same thing as our original furnace, except a little bit better. What the induction smelter does is it requires sand, as you can see there. We have sand right here. We have our machine frame. I didn't have my coil pre-made. Let's make my coil. Take that off. There we go. Now, as I was saying, the induction smelter is a little bit different. It's going to, instead of use, it's basically a enhanced, sped up version of the regular furnace. I'm sorry, I'm a little lost for words here, because I'm like, well, I know what to call it, but I'm not sure how to convey what I know to call it. It effectively doubles the output time. So the basic furnace, as I was saying back there, feels really slow, especially once the materials inside start going down, like the energy inside starts going down. So to that extent, you actually start noticing that it backs up pretty well. What the induction smelter does is you take in your basic ore here and then supply it with sand on the second slot, and you get basically doubling the production speed. It will produce 2 ores at a time, and it produces them at 1/4 of the time of the regular powered furnace. So it's like a super, super fast smelter, except that it takes sand. Now, a byproduct to an induction smelter here is typically slag. Now, slag can be used to make rock wool, as I was showing here. Rock wool is kind of more of just an explosive resistant building material. It's not completely explosive resistant. I think it's good up against creepers and basic TNT, but not much else. It's just a really easy way to get some additional super durable material. And let's see, our next guy on here is going to be Magma Crucible. My God, my phone is lighting up. One moment, guys. Alright, well, that's taken care of. Alright, so next we wanted to make a Magma Crucible. Now this takes nether brick, machine frame, redstone reception coil, copper, and a bucket. Now my nether brick I have sitting out over here, so we'll just take a little bit of that. I'm still working off basically the exact same supply of nether brick that I had at the beginning from going into the nether forever ago. Let's go ahead and make another redstone reception coil. Now, not all these machines require redstone reception coils, as you'll soon see. But, oh wait, I need a bucket as well. Darn the bucket, darn! Let's make a bucket, please. Thank you. There we go. And shift-clicking that doesn't drop it right back into my inventory. It's trying to place it into the inventory up here, which is absolutely a mess. I need to really get a hold of some time to clean everything. And we'll go ahead and slap those guys there, and we have ourselves a Magma Crucible. Now, what the Magma Crucible does, actually I'm going to set this guy a little ahead because I plan on using this, is it takes a material and melts it down. So, to that extent, you can basically say, okay, I want to make lava. You can take just about any type of stone, cobblestone, smooth stone, and given enough power, break it down into lava. The same is also true if you were to say, take netherrack, which is actually one of the highest concentrations of lava, and per 4,000 Minecraft joules, you can break one netherrock into 1,000 millibuckets, Minecraft buckets of actual lava fuel. So this is kind of the way you can create lava into the world, by breaking blocks down into lava. Another thing that this can also be used for is breaking redstone down. Redstone can be turned into liquid redstone, which is what I'm going to need for my redstone conduits and my redstone energy cell, which is effectively a buildcraft battery. Next, we have a liquid transposer. Now, is this, this is not, I do not believe this is what I have up top there. The liquid transposer, as you can see here, bucket, 2 bits of glass, redstone reception coil, and so on. Let's go ahead and make ourselves a bucket, like so. Let's make ourselves another redstone reception coil. Now, I know some of this stuff actually requires pneumatic tube, but we haven't actually gotten to any of those yet, so we'll see those here soon enough, I suppose. Let's see. I'm trying to empty something out of here. There we go. Put that there, and we'll go ahead and put that there. Also, we needed 2 glass and 2 bronze, or copper, excuse me. So we took our 2 copper there, and then our 2 glass here, and we have ourselves a liquid transposer. Now, this can be pretty useful in itself. The liquid transposer has 2 output functions. It can either take liquid that is being funneled into this through a blue waterproof pipe, so either corner here, or you can obviously change these over here. The side surfaces are smart enough to know if a liquid is flowing into it, it's going to fill out this capacity here. If it's a solid item going into it, it'll fill up this item here. And this will accept anything that's a physical object, so like a bucket, physical object container, so like a bucket, cells, anything you can fill fluid with, water bottles, so on. And it will always output into the lower slot here for whatever that filled item is. The little progress bubbles here, and of course the power supply here. Now this can be swapped by clicking this button here to be taking water out or taking fluid out of this item. So if you have lava cells, water buckets here, you can stack them up here. The emptied product will come out here, and they will move all their fluid into this. Output from this will go out of either of these circuits over here, these slots right here, so it'd be the top or the bottom. And you could basically say, okay, I want to take my water that's being pumped up from somewhere else and put it into this container, and then I want that transferred into cells, or I want it put into from cells into a tank or something like that. This can be extremely useful, and I will need to use it in conjunction with this to properly make redstone coils. Redstone, not reception coils. The word that I'm looking for, conduits. Redstone energy conduits. So yes, that is definitely where we'll be going in that direction. Let's see. Next we have our liquid transposers. No, that's what I just made. We have our glacial precipitators. Now this one actually takes snow, so I'm going to need to go get snowballs, but that won't take me but a moment. So let's head out. We got a door right here. Just pop out. Close the door. I know I can turn. Herb-a-derb. Let's head on over this way. I should be able to get snowballs with this. If not, I can go craft a shovel really quickly, because I don't think I've had to make a shovel in a very, very long time. There we go. Oh noes, I broke the water. There we go, and just break a couple more of these. And as you can see, I have plenty of snowballs now. Alright, there we go. Got a full stack of 16 plus another 2. That'll give me a couple of blocks of snow. Now what the glacial precipitator does is it can basically freeze water. I haven't played quite as much with this one, but it is a kind of neat effect. And I suppose you could use something like this to cool maybe a reactor. So let's go ahead and make our blocks, and then we'll look at the interface. I've got 2 more snowballs here. So there we go. And let's see, we needed our redstone reception coil yet again. I swear there's at least 2 machines that do not take it. I think that is correct. Alright, and we'll also need a piston, also probably for like a compression sort of thing is what's the idea here. Alright, so we've got those. Where's my cobble? Do cobble, like so. Do our iron as well. And redstone like so. We'll do our 2 blocks of snow, our redstone reception coil, our machine frame, and then 2 copper. And we have ourselves a glacial precipitator. Or, yeah, this precipitator. Alright, so basically you take in a fluid and it will freeze it. And you can either turn water into snowballs or into snow or into ice. I'm going to guess that it's probably going to use more energy depending on what kind of input you're taking here, but I personally have not played with that enough to know. So, as I was saying, to this end, if you were making ice, I can imagine that would be either A, a really cool looking building material if you wanted it for windows, or B, you could make a nice cooling system for a nuclear reactor by funneling ice into it if you're overheating the reactor for that purpose. It would give you a bit more output on power, as well as giving you a non-explosive nuclear room and non-explosive nuclear chamber. For these snow blocks, I'm just going to toss them in here because I don't really have any place to store them. Alright, so that was our glacial precipitator. Next we have our igneous extruder, and we have our aqueous accumulator. And as I said, these guys actually take pneumatic servos, which are iron, redstone, and 2 glass. So I'm going to go ahead and make a couple of those. Iron, 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 iron. 2 redstone, and I am absolutely certain I've made aqueous... something in my throat. Aqueous accumulators before, but I'm going to go ahead and remake one just for the sake of purposing with a very, very nice episode here covering all the basics. They also require 10 for these, as well as another piston for our first one here. So we'll go ahead and make the piston. Seems that a lot of machines in technical series love using pistons, so that's obviously something I need to start keeping more on hand with. I'll put that up there. We're going to need 2 glass on the sides. Now, as you can guess, or not even guess, as you can see, the majority of these builds for these structures are pretty quick, pretty easy, not overly complex, as some of the other technical mod stuff can be. I'm going to go ahead and place this guy down here. Now what this does is you can take in 2 different fluid sources, water and lava, and then you can turn those into stone. Basically, depending on what you're wanting to make, this works with absolutely no energy, so you don't have to have any input, and it has outputs on 2 sides, or however many sides you want. You can turn it into cobblestone, smooth stone, or obsidian. Now cobblestone takes nothing, literally nothing. You can use, you know, a 1 millibucket of water. You don't even get increments that small, but you can use that small amount of water or that small amount of lava, and you will have infinite cobblestone forever. This becomes effectively an infinite cobble generator in 1 block. Or it can use a very small amount of lava per tick and not use any water, and you can produce smooth stone. Or you can use about a bucket of lava per against the water and produce obsidian. It actually might be a little bit more efficient than that, but it's I haven't used this in excess other than making mass cobblestone for purposes of recycling. So yes, this is effectively infinite cobblestone, infinite building material. Our last and final thing for our stuff here is our aqueous accumulator, which I'm going to need a bucket for. Darn the bucket. Go ahead and make this like so. And we need, oh, that's everything. totally good. And we'll just stick that up there, stick that there, put glass on the sides, put a machine frame in the mid, and 210 on the bottom, and there we have our aqueous accumulator. Now if you remember this from one of my earlier episodes when I did tanks, which is one of my highest viewed videos, I have no idea why, but it is. This is something very, very useful if you're wanting to generate a lot of water, and that's the only thing it generates. What it does is it automatically works by default. It doesn't require any sort of power, it doesn't require anything. All sides are outputs. There is no other way. It just produces water, and as you can see here, it's slowly gaining. Aqueous accumulators work differently based on the biome that they're in, as well as their immediate surrounding environment. So if you were to place it next to the fountain over there, it would be drawing in more water from the air, kind of like a dehumidifier, because it's next to a water fountain. Or in the example of my 9 over there, I have 2 of these on top of this, and I have a couple water sources next to those that I placed with buckets, and it basically lets them generate additional water per second because they're closer to a source of water and they're absorbing the moisture from the air. Now, as I had said, this has outputs on all sides, and so that's going to automatically output into my igneous extruder as well as my glacial precipitator here as well. So yes, that is going to be the bulk of everything that we're really looking at when it comes to thermal expansion machines. And I swear my phone has not stopped beeping since I got down here because I'm receiving so many text messages. I just seem to be very popular today. I don't know why. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're going to show you exactly what we're going to do with this next episode when I start employing these two guys, my transposer and my crucible, into good effort. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure you to leave a comment in the comment section below if you enjoyed the video, like the video, and also be sure to follow me on Twitter at warmac9, and just stay abreast of what I'm doing when I've got videos coming out. If I have any new videos coming, you'll see it there first. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been warmac9, and I will see you next time. Oh, poop. I just realized I actually have to tell you guys that since this is episode 30, every 10 episodes I was going to upload a copy of the world for download. So be sure you check that out down in the description below. Everything that's out here is going to be on there. All the books, all the research, all the things that I've done so far. You guys can play along if you'd like. Everything will be there available for you to use. So, again, this has been warmac9. The link will be down in the description. It's a media file. This time it is not going to include everything else because it was just a massive file last time. I'll see you guys next time.